Hello, my friends. Welcome back to StoryPath English. I am so glad you have joined me again by our imaginary campfire. Imagine a city made of white marble under a bright blue sky. Imagine grand temples, beautiful statues, and the birth of democracy. This was Athens, Greece, about 2,400 years ago. It was the center of the world's thinking. But in the middle of this beautiful city, there was an old man who didn't look like a hero at all. He didn't wear shoes. His clothes were old and worn. He didn't have a house, a horse, or any money. Yet, the most powerful men in the city were terrified of him. Today, I want to tell you the story of Socrates. He didn't write any books. He didn't lead any armies. He simply did one thing. He asked questions. And for that one thing, the city he loved decided he had to die. How could a man be executed just for asking why? Stay with me as we explore the life of the most dangerous thinker in history. And if you enjoy traveling back in time with us, please subscribe to our Path of Stories. Our story begins in the busy streets of Athens. Socrates was a stonemason by trade, someone who worked with his hands. But as he grew older, he realized he didn't care about stones or money. He cared about the human soul. He would walk to the Times Agora, the big marketplace, every single morning. He wouldn't go there to buy fruit or fish. He went there to talk. He was a strange-looking man. History tells us he had a large nose, bulging eyes, and a messy beard. He was often barefoot, but when he started to speak, people stopped in their tracks. He had a way of looking at you that made you feel like he was searching for the truth inside your heart. One day, a friend of Socrates went to the oracle at Delphi. In ancient Greece, the oracle was a mysterious woman who was believed to speak for the gods. The friend asked a simple question. Is there anyone wiser than Socrates? The oracle answered, No. No one is wiser than Socrates. When Socrates heard this, he was confused. He said, I am not wise at all. I know nothing. He decided to prove the oracle wrong. He went to the wisest people he could find. He went to the politicians, the great poets, and the famous teachers. He asked them simple questions. What is justice? What is courage? What is beauty? At first, these famous men gave him long, confident answers. But Socrates would ask another question, and another, and another. Soon, these wise men realized they didn't actually know what they were talking about. They were just using big words to sound important. Socrates realized the oracle was right. He was the wisest man, but only for one reason. He was the only person who knew that he knew nothing. This was the beginning of what we now call the Socratic method. Socrates didn't give his students answers. He gave them questions. He wanted them to think for themselves. He wanted them to peel away the lies and the half-truths until they found the core of what was real. He called himself a gadfly, a small, stinging fly. He said the city of Athens was like a large, lazy horse, and his job was to sting it and wake it up. The young people of Athens loved him. They followed him everywhere. They watched him make the powerful politicians look foolish, and they laughed. They started to ask their own questions. They started to ask their parents, why do we do things this way? Is this really right? But while the young people loved him, the powerful men of the city began to hate him. At that time, Athens was going through a very difficult period. They had just lost a long, bloody war against the city of Sparta. The people were scared. They were angry. And when people are scared, they look for someone to blame. They looked at Socrates. They said, "This man is dangerous. He is teaching our children to disrespect us. He is questioning our gods. He is making the city weak." They didn't want a gadfly stinging them anymore. They wanted him to be quiet. In the year 399 BC, 3 men brought formal charges against Socrates. He was 70 years old. The charges were very serious: corrupting the youth of Athens and impiety, not believing in the city's gods. If he was found guilty, the punishment could be death. Imagine the courtroom. It wasn't a small room with a judge. It was a massive outdoor space with 500 citizens acting as the jury. Socrates stood in the center. He didn't hire a lawyer. He didn't cry or beg for mercy. He simply spoke the truth. His defense is famous in history. It is called the Apology, but in ancient Greek, apologia times didn't mean saying, "I'm sorry." It meant a defense. Socrates told the jury that he was a gift to the city. He said that even if they threatened to kill him, he would never stop asking questions. He said a famous line that we still remember today: "The unexamined life is not worth living." Think about that for a moment. He was saying that if you don't think, if you don't ask why you believe what you believe, you aren't really living. You are just a shadow. The jury listened, but they were tired and bitter. By a small margin, they voted that he was guilty. In those days, the prisoner could suggest his own punishment. Most people in Socrates' position would suggest exile, leaving the city forever. The jury would have agreed. They didn't really want to kill him. They just wanted him to go away. But Socrates would not play their game. He said that since he was a gift to Athens, his punishment should be free meals for the rest of his life. This made the jury furious. They felt he was mocking them. They voted again, and this time they sentenced him to death. Socrates was taken to a stone prison. Because of a religious festival, he had to wait 30 days before the execution. His friends were devastated. They came to his cell and told him they had a plan. They had bribed the guards. They had a boat waiting. "Come with us, Socrates," they begged. "You can live in another city. You can keep teaching." But Socrates refused. He asked them another question: Is it right to break the law just because the law is being unfair to you? He believed that he was a citizen of Athens, and he had to respect the rules of the city even if those rules were wrong. He would not run away like a thief in the night. He would face his end with dignity. On the final day, his friends gathered around him in the prison cell. Many of them were crying. Socrates was the only one who was calm. He talked to them about the soul. He told them that death was either a deep, peaceful sleep or a journey to a better place. He was not afraid. The jailer brought in a cup of hemlock. Hemlock is a powerful poison that slowly numbs the body until the heart stops. Socrates took the cup. He didn't hesitate. He drank it all. He began to walk around the room until his legs felt heavy. Then he lay down. As the poison moved up toward his heart, he spoke his last words to his friend Crito. He reminded him to pay a small debt he owed. Even at the very end, he was thinking about what was right and just. He closed his eyes, and the gadfly of Athens was silent at last. But the men who killed Socrates made a huge mistake. They thought that by killing the man, they could kill the questions. They were wrong. Socrates never wrote anything down, but his student a young man named Plato wrote down everything Socrates said. Because of Plato, the questions of Socrates traveled across the ocean and across time. Socrates changed history because he taught us that truth is more important than comfort. He taught us that it is better to be a person who asks why than a person who follows the crowd in silence. He showed us that one person with a clear mind can challenge an entire empire. As our campfire burns low, think about your own life. Are there questions you are afraid to ask? Are there things you believe just because everyone else believes them? The story of Socrates reminds us that we have a responsibility to think. It reminds us that our minds are our greatest tools. History is full of people who wanted to be kings, but Socrates only wanted to be a seeker of truth. He showed us that you don't need a crown to be powerful. You only need the courage to look into the mirror and say, I know nothing, but I want to learn. Thank you for sitting with me tonight on the StoryPath. Socrates' voice still echoes in every classroom and every library in the world. He invites you to be curious, to be brave, and to never stop asking why. If this story touched you, please like the video and share it with a friend who loves to think. And tell me in the comments, if Socrates were alive today, what is the one question you think he would ask our world? Subscribe to StoryPath English to keep building your vocabulary and your mind. I will see you on our next journey into the past. Good night, my friends. Keep your questions alive.